YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we're gonna do the White Forest showcase. Now, we did a stream a while ago with regards to the White Forest and what decks this is good with. So far, these are the decks that we come up so far. So we're gonna test them out in another video, of course, once the White Forest is gonna be in Master Duel. Now, I wouldn't be here streaming the release of the selection pack this Friday because I have work, but we will do it by Saturday. For anyone who is interested in the White Forest, this strategy revolves around the monsters discarding a spell or trap card from the hand or from the field and either add a card from your deck to your hand or spell summon itself, or just basically synchro summoning a monster on the field. Best part about the White Forest, it doesn't lock you into an archetype, attribute, or a type. Unlike the TCG, where Baron de Flor, Appaloosa, and even Borreload Savage Dragon is banned, in Master Duel they are still complete, so you can use them to its full advantage with this archetype alone. Another thing about this archetype is it can summon Dragoons to the field. The core cards also for the White Forest involves around 16 cards in total, and you still have room for hand traps and counter hand traps alike to be added into the game. Resources are not really a big problem with White Forest because they always recurse back their cards from the graveyard back to the field or back to their hand. Some best engines for this deck is with the Toy Box, which is the primary engine for the White Forest archetype because they give out a ton of advantage. Second would be the Bestials, having to have an extra body of level 6, level 8, and you can sync off them into a level 10, a level 12 respectively. With that out of the way, let's move on to the core deck list first. Okay, so for the core deck list, we have here, guys, 15 cards in total for your main deck. The best part about this, like I said earlier, you have room for your hand traps and counter hand traps alike to add into the deck, or some engines that you really want to add alongside this archetype. For your extra deck, it's not that much. It's only 3 cards, and like I said earlier, these cards recurse back from your graveyard to your extra deck, so it's a perfect deck, and you can have a ton of advantage with just 2 of these cards on the field for an OTK. We'll talk about the OTK in a bit, but anyways, for your core deck list, we have here Silvy of the White Forest. If this card is normal or spell summon, you can add 1 White Forest spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target 1 White Forest synchro monster on the field or in your graveyard, place it back into the extra deck and spell summon it on the field. Although its effects are negated, but you can use this one again for a fodder for your synchro summon or your link summon. With regards to the number of copies, I do think running 3 copies of this is okay, but it really depends on your build. Some people are running 2 copies of this, but running 3 copies of this in a pure White Forest build is pretty good. Next up, with a copy of Lucia of the White Forest. If you control a White Forest monster, you can spell summon this card from your hand. You can send 1 spell or trap card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then draw 1 card. A pretty good +1 already. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, same as Silvy, you can spin back 1 White Forest synchro monster you control or in your graveyard and spell summon this to the field with its effects negated. But so far, I've seen most of the people run with 1 copy of this. I do think running with 2 copies on the pure version is pretty much okay. Then we have Astellar of the White Forest. You can send 1 spell or trap card from your hand or field to the graveyard, spell summon 1 light spellcaster tuner from your deck. If a spell or trap card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster's effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can spell summon this card. Take note, the level 2s are non-tuners and the level 4s are tuners. With regards to the number of copies, Astellar is one of your best starters as well to combo off and establish your field. Then we have Elzette of the White Forest. You can send 1 spell or trap card from your hand or field to the graveyard, spell summon this card from your hand, then add 1 White Forest monster from your deck to your hand, except Elzette. During your opponent's turn, if a light spellcaster tuner is spell summoned to the field while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. So definitely 3 copies of. For your spell and trap cards, you don't have that much. So first and foremost, we have Beware of the White Forest. If you control a level 6 or higher illusion or spellcaster monster, target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster's effect, you can set this card. So pretty good recursion as well, like I said earlier. Then in regards to the Tales of the White Forest, the second spell card, if you control an illusion or spellcaster monster, add 1 White Forest monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster's effect, you can set this card also. Next up, we have Woes of the White Forest. Spell summon 1 White Forest monster from your hand or deck, then immediately after this card resolves, you can synchro summon one white forest synchro monster on the field. Unlike the spell cards, if this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster's effect, you can set this card. So another good card as well to dump to the graveyard to have it on the field directly. For your extra deck, you only have 3 monsters here that you can recurse back. So first and foremost, we have here our boss monster, Diabel, Queen of the White Forest. If this card is synchro summoned using a tuner synchro monster, you can target one spell or trap card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. When your opponent activates a card or quick effect, you can send one spell or trap card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon one level 7 or lower tuner synchro monster from your extra deck, graveyard, or from the banished pile on the field. So a pretty good card as well to summon one monster. We'll talk about the monsters that you can summon to the field as well. Second card, we have Rusilia, Sinister Soul of the White Forest. If this card is special summon, you can send one spell or trap card from your hand or field to the graveyard, add one white forest card or light spellcaster monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty good searcher as well, and it's easy enough to summon because majority of your monsters from your main deck are level 4 and level 2. Illusion and spellcaster synchro monsters you control gain 500 attack. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, so pretty good protection as well to top it all off. Then lastly, we have Silvera, Wolf Tamer of the White Forest. If this card is special summoned, you can change all face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. Illusion and spellcaster synchro monsters you control gain 500 attack. Also, if they attack a defense position monster, inflict double piercing battle damage to your opponent. That is your closer right there, guys. Normally, if your opponent has a 0 defense position monster, all you need to do is to summon Silvera to the field and a copy of Diabel. That's it, basically. So you basically have like a 3k body on the field with the Diabel, and also a 2/400 body on the field with the Silvera. If you attack a defense position monster and you do piercing damage, it doubles it, and then you basically win the game at that point on. Pretty good matchup as well, pretty good core deck list, and that is the strength of the White Forest. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to the Master Duel deck list for the White Forest. Okay, so for our Master Duel deck list for the White Forest, here we have it. Like I said earlier, Toy Box is the best engine to pair it with the White Forest. Not only that this card gains you a copy of Toy Soldier or Toy Tank on the field, this also is a soft once per turn. So if you have another Toy Box on hand, you can activate first the first one, set those 2 cards, and then activate the second one of the Toy Box, and then pop one of those cards to trigger the effect in the graveyard. Toy Tank allows you to spell summon a level 6 or lower monster from your hand, or if you control a Toy Box, you can spell summon one level 6 or lower monster from your graveyard. So a pretty good effect as well. And lastly, if you have Toy Soldier, once this card is sent to the graveyard for a monster effect, you can add one Toy Box from your deck to your hand, or if you control a Toy Box, you can add one level 4 light monster instead. So typically, this synergizes quite well with the White Forest because majority or all of their cards are light monsters. With regards to the Periodries map, it's up to you if you want to use them, but if maybe you can add some additional cards. For me, I'm just adding them just for consistency's sake. Also, please take note about the correct ratios for the monsters and the spell and trap cards, because most of the time, I had some problems with more monsters into the mix and less spell and trap cards, so I don't have any cards as fodders to dump for the effects of the White Forest. Then there's also going to be times where you'll have more spell and trap cards on hand, but no White Forest monsters typically. So make it as you will. We also have the Silhouette Trick, which of course you can get with a copy of Silhouette Rabbit. Really good negate, and also I think this can also pop one spell and trap card your opponent controls. That's it. Pretty good card effect. And this one negates if summoned to the field. That's it. Muddy Mood Dragon on the field summons a copy of Albion, and then summons a copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, so additional interruption as well, and additional negate. Oh yeah, your target for Diabel here is a copy of your Formula Synchron, a level 2 tuner monster. If you used up the effect of Diabel, you can summon your Formula Synchron and summon a copy of Baron the Floor on the field, or Chaos Angel, depending on what cards you are dealing with. So additional negates or additional banish, it's up to you. Or you want to summon Chaos Angel, why not? Go for it. The deck revolves around spell and trap cards, half and half, well basically like 21 to 19, more on the monsters. Anywho's, that is your Master Duel deck list. Let's move towards the hardest part of this video, which is the combos. Okay guys, so here we are with the combos, and first of all, we have here Astellar and a copy of Toy Box. This is the best hand possible, and this is already full combo if you have these two cards on hand. So let's start off this combo. Okay, so first and foremost, we're gonna go for Toy Box on the field, gaining access to Toy Soldier and Toy Tank on the field. Normal Summoner are Astellar, sending a copy of Toy Soldier to the graveyard, triggering the effect of Toy Soldier, and then using the effect of Astellar to spell summon the Silvy. Silvy, upon summon, gains us access to one spell or trap, so we'll get access to Tales of the White Forest. And for the Soldier, spell summon the field, gain us access to Rusia. So there we go. And then we spell summon Rusia because we have a White Forest monster, and use its effect, sending one spell and trap card, sending the Toy Tank to the grave for a +1, and then use the effect of Toy Tank because it was sent there to the graveyard and spell summon itself to the field. With that, we sync off into a copy of Rusia, and then use the effect of Rusia to dump a copy of Tales of the White Forest to the graveyard to gain access to our trap card. There we go. And with that, since a spell or trap card has been sent to the graveyard for a monster effect, we trigger the effect of Astellar and have the Tales of the White Forest to float, setting it back to the field. So spell summon the Astellar, setting the Tails, and we go into using the Tails, getting a copy of LZ from the Tails, and then we sync off lastly into a copy of Diabel. There we go. Diabel will get us one more spell or trap card from the graveyard, so we'll target our Tales of the White Forest. There we go. Use the effect of LZ, dumping one spell or trap card from our hand or field to the graveyard. For its spell summon, we dump a copy of Woes, and Woes will be set back to the field. LZ gains us access to one other White Forest monster. Any White Forest monster will do, but at this point, we already have a really good board. So there you go. Woes will be activated, setting it back to the field. And we go for Muddy Mud Dragon, use effect, summoning Albion, and then summoning a copy of Dragoons to the field. That's pretty nice. And then we use the effect of the Silvy from our graveyard, spinning back a copy of Rusia from our graveyard for these two cards to be on the field. Now with this, you can either go into a copy of Visas Amritara, if you like, to gain access to the trap card, or you can go into a copy of Silhouette Rabbit, and then Silhouette Rabbit will gain access to the trap card for additional negate, and Silhouette Rabbit can pop one spell and trap card on the field, which is pretty good though. So for this, I am going with Visas Amritara for the counter trap card. What you call this trap card? Refraining. So there we go. So that is our field basically. Now what can these do? This is a negate. This is an interaction, spell summoning a copy of the Formula Synchron to the field, gaining into a copy for your level 10s, for a banish, Omni Negate, and also for 2 cards banished from the field and in the graveyard if you're going up against Yubel. Or you go into a copy of this one right here, Woes of the White Forest, spell summoning a level 4 or a level 2 White Forest monster, and then you sync off into another monster. You can also go into a copy of level 4 and then a copy of the Amritara, go into a copy of Centurion Legatia, +1 on your hand, and popping one monster on your opponent's side of the field. So pretty good though, and since you're working with synchro monsters, you still have, or you can still use the effect of Manadium Refraining. The best part about this, once this card is in the graveyard, you can just use the effect of your level 4 tuner monsters, which is Rusia, or if you have summoned the level 6, or Silvy is also here though. You can spin back the Diabel from the graveyard and then have it summoned to the field for an OTK next turn. That is our combo number 1. Let's move on with combo number 2. Okay, so for combo number 2 is, what if we don't have Toy Box but we only have Astellar, which is still perfectly fine. As long as you have Astellar, that's still pretty good. So let's start. So we go for a copy of Astellar here, dumping a copy of spell card, spell summoning the Silvy to the field. Silvy, upon summon, gaining access to our Woes. Alright. Then going into a copy of Rusia, dumping the Woes for a copy of Tails. Use the effect of Woes, set it back to the field, and spell summoning the Astellar back to the field. And we still have our Tales of the White Forest. Tales of the White Forest gains us a copy of LZ. Send to the graveyard, go for Diabel. Gain back the copy of Tails. Use the effect of the LZ, dumping one spell and trap card, spell summoning the LZ to the field, gaining a copy of Rusia to our hand. and setting a copy of Tails on the field. Use the effect of Rusia, spell summoning itself, spell summoning a copy of Mud Dragon to the field, and then use the effect of the Silvy, spell summoning itself to the field, going into Albion from the Mud Dragon, and going for a copy of Dragoons on the field. So that is a simple version as well with a copy of Woes, or you can go into a copy of the Silhouette Rabbit. It's still perfectly fine. It's still pretty good though. It's up to you if you want to summon Dragoons to the field or the Silhouette Rabbit plus a trap card. That's basically it. That is our combo number 2. Let's move on with combo number 3. Okay, so for combo number 3, we have here Astellar and a copy of Toy Soldier. Now, Toy Soldier, once sent to the graveyard. Also, you can set Toy Soldier, by the way. So, once sent to the graveyard, you can gain access to Toy Box. And it's a soft once per turn. Really crazy card. So, there we go. Astellar on the field, setting a copy of Toy Soldier. Toy Soldier sent to the graveyard. Sending a spell summoning a copy of Silvy. Silvy gains us access to one other spell card, so we'll go for Tales of the White Forest, spell summoning the Toy Soldier. Toy Soldier gains us access to a copy of the Toy Box. Yes, we got the Toy Box here. Go for a copy of Tails, gaining a copy of LZ. There we go, and then go for Mud Dragon with Muddy Mud Dragon, Mood Dragon, I mean. Albion into a copy of Dragoons. Toy Box gains us access to a copy of Toy Soldier from the graveyard and Toy Tank from the deck. Sending a copy of Toy Tank from the effect of LZ. Spell summoning the LZ, get a copy of Rusia. Toy Tank will be spell summoned to the field. Use the effect of Toy Tank, spell summoning a copy of Rusia from the graveyard. No, spell summoning a copy of Silvy from the graveyard because we can still spell summon Rusia from our hand. So that's pretty good though. And with this, we use the effect of Rusilia, dumping one spell and trap card on our field. Getting a copy of Woes. With this, we'll summon a copy of our very own Rusia. Dumping Woes, drawing one card. Woes will be set back to the field. Use the effect of Astellar. Spell summon itself back to the field because there was a spell and trap card sent to the graveyard for a monster effect. And then we can go into a copy of Diabel. Gain one spell card from our graveyard to our hand. There we go. Special summoning the Silvy back, spinning a copy of Rusilia from our graveyard, go into Silhouette Rabbit from the 2-level force, and then we gain access to a copy of Silhouette Trick. And that is our board, typically. So, yeah, there we go. Let's move on with our next combo. Okay, so what will happen if you don't have the Astellar, you don't have the Toy Box, you only have the Toy Soldier plus the Silvy. It's still pretty good though, you still managed to do that board. So, let's start. So with this, we go for Silvy first, getting access to Tales of the White Forest. Tales of the White Forest, get a copy of LZ. Yep, LZ's the best way. Setting a copy of Toy Soldier here. And then use the effect of LZ, sending it to the graveyard, spell summoning that, getting a copy of Astellar. Toy Soldier will be spell summoned to the field, gaining access to our Toy Box. And at this point, I think we use the effect of Toy Box here. There we go, setting a second copy of Toy Soldier and Toy Tank on the field. Go into a copy of Rusilia, sending a copy of Toy Tank to the grave, getting access to the Woes. Toy Tank will be spell summoned. Use the effect of Toy Tank, spell summon the Astellar to the field. Use the effect of Astellar, sending the Woes to the grave, gaining access to the Rusiyo, or Rushio. I don't know how to spell that, Rushio. And then having the Woes back on the field. With that, we go for Diabel, getting access to one more spell card. And then I think that at this point, we use the effect of Rusiyo to dump a copy of Tails, and then we draw one more card. So pretty good though. Use the effect of Astellar because we want to trigger the effect of Astellar here, and then trigger the effect of the Tails. So that, we have a ton of fodders. Go for Silhouette Rabbit, getting a copy of Silhouette Trick, and use the effect of the Silvy, spell summon to the field. You can go with Muddy Mud Dragon, use the effect of the Silhouette Rabbit, go for Albion, and go into a copy of our Dragoons. Anyway, that is our 4th combo. Let's move on to our last combo for this showcase. Okay, so for our last combo for this video, we have 2 toy boxes. So no monsters at all. What will happen? Well, we can still do this. Like I said earlier, toy box is a soft once per turn effect that you can choose from. So, first effect, or first card, you go for Toy Box, setting a copy of our Toy Soldier and Toy Tank. Second Toy Box, activate, use the effect to pop 1 card. So we pop Toy Soldier on the field, Spiral Summoning, getting a copy of our Silvy. Silvy will be normal summon, gaining access to our Tails. There we go. Tails will be activated. Tails, getting a copy of LZ. LZ will use the effect, dumping a copy of the toy box to the graveyard, Spiral Summoning itself, getting a copy of Astellar. There we go. Sync off into a copy of Reselia, dumping the toy tank to the graveyard, getting a copy of Woes. Use the effect of Toy Tank, Spiral Summon itself to the field. Use the effect of Toy Tank, Spiral Summoning the Astellar to the field. Use the effect, dumping the Woes, gaining access to the YugiOh. Use the effect of the Woes, setting it back to the field. We go into a copy of Diabel, gaining access to 1 Spell and Trap. We go for a copy of Tails. Use the effect of YugiOh, dumping 1 card, triggering the effect of the 2 monsters, the 1 monster and the Tails. Spiral Summoning the Astellar to the field. Go for Magma Dragon. Go for Albion, and go for a copy of Dragoons on the field. And go for a copy of the Silvy or the YugiOh, either way, to have an additional body on the field. Or you can go into a copy of Silhouette Rabbit, into the Silhouette Trick, and then you still have the same board. So that is basically all our combos for today, boys and girls. What are your thoughts on the White Forest? And tell me what is the best variant for you that you want to play with the White Forest. Tell me in the comment section below if you want a deck list that I showcased to you earlier for the White Forest. It's in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep safe, good luck. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.